Ready?
To making a mess.
Hey friends, it's Sam from DIY Huntress, and today is going to be a fun project because today's project, I have a partner in crime that you guys have already met and that I love, and it is, drumroll please.
Am I gonna fit in the frame? Hi.
No, you're too tall, come down. My brother Jordan! Yay!
Hi, how are you?
So you've probably seen Jordan kind of pop in and out of a couple of projects on my channel before, and actually Jordan has been editing my videos for me over the past couple of months, which has been awesome. You can thank him because he's the reason why my videos now don't take like 4 months to come out after a project. MVP. So since Jordan's now editing my videos, I figured why not give him a cool space to edit videos from, right? This project may look a little familiar because in this video we'll be revamping a space that was already kind of finished, not really, just needed some
Depends
love.
on what you mean by finished. Finished as in when I first moved down here? Or when it's done now?
Oh goodness, we'll get there when we get there. But that being said, I feel like this little space turned out really cool. I can't wait to show you what we did down here, and I guess that's it, right?
Yeah.
So
Let's get started.
Let's get started. This video is sponsored by my friends at TopGreener. Let's get caught up to speed on this basement series. If you've been following along for a while, you will know that over the past few years, I've been working super hard to transform my parents' unused, unfinished basement into a finished space. I started with a living space, turned a closet into a workout room, finished up their laundry room, and I also turned an unused nook into a really cool little office space with a floating desk with hidden storage. Now, when I built this little nook space, I knew that it would get some love, but I didn't realize just how much love it was actually going to get, especially with so many people working from home during that big C-19. In fact, it not only got a lot of love, but it got a permanent resident when my brother decided to move in all of his stuff, and here we are. In fact, the little office nook went from like office chic to more like man cave chic, and so this is where this project starts. Jordan!
You left a mess down here, Sam.
I didn't leave a mess down here. Did you see this thing before you moved your stuff down here? What is this? What did you do? So, are you moving your computer down here?
Yeah, I want to.
Can
we make it look pretty with more storage?
Pretty with more storage? Yeah, I mean, it looked pretty before.
Eh.
You're gonna make this your home office, so what do you need from me?
Definitely more storage solutions.
Okay, do you need all of this to stay up?
No, that can come down.
If we add like paneling or something, it'll help a little bit. Do you want to do some paneling? I love the look of the cinder block on that wall. What if we did like faux brick? Faux brick.
Faux brook? I like it.
Faux brick look?
I like it.
Faux brick.
Yeah. Maybe some shelving.
Okay.
I think we have a plan.
I think so. So you're gonna help me clean, right?
Only if you give me pizza.
Wait, okay, time out. You want me to help you clean your mess and still buy you pizza?
Yes.
Fine. Fine. I feel like I'm losing in this situation, but...
Gore. Let's go.
Alright, so as you can see, my brother made himself very comfortable down here. So first thing was first, we definitely had to clear out this space and kind of start fresh because it is obviously very cluttered. Now, if you checked out the full basement renovation video, or if you have checked it out and you'll remember, I actually left some of the cinder block foundation exposed and painted over it. So we thought it would look really cool to kind of mimic that look with a faux brick pattern on this back wall. If you don't know what I'm talking about though, I have linked to that video in the video description along with all of the rest of the basement projects, so definitely go check that out. Before diving headfirst into installing the paneling, I did mark where all of the studs were in that back wall because I will be using brad nails to install the paneling. But once those were marked, I then went outside and I cut some faux brick paneling down from the home improvement store using a handheld saw. Real quick spoiler alert, if you follow me on Instagram, you will know that I'm currently working on a commercial build out for a retail store, and I am doing a gigantic version of a wall like this where I do choose a different way to cut these panels, but for a smaller space, just cutting these straight across and trying to match up the bricks so that the pattern continues along this back wall was such a fast, quick, easy way to do this, and so that is the method that I chose. And in terms of installation, I just shot some brad nails through the panels and into the studs, and they held beautifully without having to use any adhesive. The only time I had to get a little creative was when I had to cut around an outlet, but I used my jigsaw to cut out the notch and it worked perfectly. One thing I learned the hard way though is that these panels definitely do not line up perfectly, so I did try my best, but there is a little trick that I have for this later to help hide all of those seams and those imperfections, so bear with me. Once those panels were up though, it was time to get a little messy, so I began by covering all of the surfaces that I did not want to ruin with plastic and with tape. Luckily, I had a really helpful helper for this part of the project. I don't know what I would have done without him.
Sticky note.
Hey. Ow!
What?
I yanked my hair out with the tape.
It's a free waxing.
I didn't ask for any waxing today. And once everything was covered, it was time to make a mess. Ready?
To making a mess.
So to hide all of the ugly seams and to help make the faux brick look like, well, real brick, Jordan and I took a whole bunch of joint compound and we just spread it all over these brick panels. We really didn't have an agenda. We kind of just added more and spread more and just wanted it to look kind of textured. And then once we were happy with how it looked, we let it dry for a while. Jordan, we're gonna take a photo.
I'm prepping for it.
What do you mean you're prepping? What are you doing?
I'm prepping for it. You gotta look like you worked the part, right?
We're actually working, so people are gonna think we're the messiest
Okay, so.
DIYers.
Okay, is that the point of being DIY? Be messy.
Ready? Ready? Almost fell!
It was broke the desk.
Alright,
Okay,
let's paint this
very
wall. So before actually letting the wall dry completely, I did remove the painter's tape so that it wouldn't make that compound crumble off later, but then we allowed the wall to dry for pretty much the rest of the day and came back later that night, and I whitewashed the wall using about a 50-50 split of paint to water ratio. Now, I personally really liked all of that red coming through the brick, but Jordan wanted it to look a lot more whitewashed, so that's why I did a 50-50 ratio. If I wanted to keep more of that red, I definitely would have done more of like a 75% water, 25% paint, but either way, it worked out really well, and Jordan really liked the coloring, and that's all that really matters because it's his space. Also, one note here, I did find it was easiest to use a good quality paintbrush for this part of the project, so I was able to get into all of those nooks and crannies and grout lines, and it looked super natural when it was done, and it turned out a lot better than I thought it would. So one thing Jordan really specifically requested for this space was some sort of shelf, and since it is a tight space to begin with, I didn't want to add any bulky brackets, so I actually found a 2x12 piece of wood in the scrap pile at my local Home Depot, and I used an awesome tutorial from my friend Glen over at DIY Creators to create a floating shelf using a little trick that he does with pocket holes. So definitely head on over to his channel, check out that video. I've linked it below this video for you to peruse if you are interested in doing a project like this in your home. But once that shelf was built, signed, sealed, and delivered, Jordan and I then installed it together into the little nook and just installed it as high as he wanted it to be. Now, since this shelf was actually pretty deep, one thing that I did end up doing, which was definitely overkill, it was just me kind of doing a little too much planning, was I did add some brackets on the top side just to hold everything nice and square. I don't think that these were necessary, but again, I just sometimes like to go the extra mile just in case. But once that shelf was up, Jordan was super excited and he started installing his speakers up there and some other good stuff pretty much right away. So while Jordan put the rest of his little office space together in his own way, I wanted to focus on upgrading the basement with one more pretty big upgrade. Since the basement functions as a multi-purpose space for my family, because it has a living space, a workout room, a laundry room, it's also the side entrance to my parents' home. I partnered up with my friends at TopGreener to install a motion sensor light right at the entrance of the basement so that nobody would have to scramble for figuring out where the light is anymore while walking up the stairs or down the stairs in the dark. This in-wall motion sensor switch was honestly so easy to install. It has a universal wiring design, so you don't have to second guess which wire goes where. It's all laid out so nicely. So literally all I had to do was turn off the power at the breaker for the stairwell, take out the old switch, switch in the new one, pun totally intended, and then after my first try, it was ready to roll.
Seconds after showing.
Oh, it worked! It worked! Woo! Another cool thing that I was able to do was I was able to pop off that front cover and adjust any of the settings for sensitivity or light duration, and that way it was totally customizable to my family's needs. So now we'll be able to detect any occupancy or motion coming through the stairwell and turn on the lights automatically, so no more stumbling down those stairs. At this point though, once that lighting was upgraded, it was time for Jordan to enjoy his brand new office space, which I think looks pretty cool if I must say so myself. I actually had so much fun revisiting a space that I had already done previously and had a blast making it feel like Jordan's space now. He is so happy with this space and he is a permanent basement dweller now and never wants to leave. Honestly, between you and I'm not complaining. He's got some projects he needs to edit now for my channel. I hope you all loved this project as much as we did and that it gave you some inspiration for future projects of your own. If so, please make sure to subscribe to my channel for more projects in the very near future. There is a ton coming up that I cannot wait to share. But until then, friends, thanks so much for being awesome and happy DIYing.